he acknowledged he was terrible. That's what's the irony here. It would be one thing if Aaron was great in London and Saleh's defense got shredded. No. Saleh's defense was the first all year to completely flummox the Vikings offense. So Saleh's defense, without Hassan Reddick, who should be there, with Sauce Gardner getting hurt, with Quinnen Williams at one point getting banged up, completely shut down Justin Jefferson, completely shut down the Minnesota Vikings, who'll probably drop 45 this week. And Aaron was terrible. And Hackett keeps his job, and Saleh gets fired.
Well, this is what happens when you, what's the saying? When you lay down with dogs, you get fleas? Woody Johnson was desperate for relevance. You know how the Browns were desperate? Hey, Deshaun Watson, we'll give you the fully guaranteed contract. Come on down. Hasn't worked out. Jets were desperate. Longest playoff drought in the NFL.
Yeah.
Aaron, please, let me get on the private jet. Aaron, please, we need you.
Remember last week, I said the Mets are going into the playoffs. The Yankees are going to the playoffs. I said this last week. The Giants are not terrible.
They're terrible. Come on.
And the Knicks have their first championship-level team in 20 years. And I said this last week. In New York, it's a battle for the back page. So the Mets are, the way they win, you can't take your eyes off them. The Yankees are disappointing you, but they're the #1 brand in town. Here comes the next season, and say what you want about the Giants is Big Blue has all the trophies in that town. They have a lot of fans. They play in the same stadium, and that win in Seattle, people are like, all right, they're getting all fired up. This is also about crazy Woody, impulsive Woody, not getting attention.
Yeah.
Because they lose Monday night. The Jets, once again, have a great defense and embarrassing offense.
Yeah. Remember how we talked about Aaron Rodgers wanting to copy Tom Brady? Tom Brady leaves to go to Tampa and, has some beef with Arians and ends up winning the Super Bowl. Brought his guys. Hey, Gronk, come out of retirement. Antonio Brown, come live in my house. It all worked out for Brady. Rodgers tried to do the same thing. Hey, Nat Hackett, come on with me. We'll build something in New York. Hey, Lazard, Randall Cobb, remember that experiment? It's all been a disaster. Listen, I don't want to be too harsh here on Rodgers, but at this stage in his career, is he a loser? He hasn't won games. He hasn't won anything since those MVP awards. He's losing left and right with coaches, with players.
Remember, MVP awards are very big in baseball. Nobody cares in the NFL. Nobody cares. It's all about winning on Sunday. This is not a league that romanticizes itself. Think about this. You can't listen to a baseball discussion in New York. Somebody will call a show and bring up Mickey Mantle. When's the last time you listened to sports radio in America and somebody brought up Hugh McElhaney, the running back? We don't even bring up Barry Sanders. So baseball, its history, its lore is very much about the rear view mirror. Football's the windshield. What have you done Sunday? So ask, what has Robert Saleh done as of this moment? Arguably the best defense in the league.
Yeah.
Shut down Minnesota. Best coach on the staff. And he's out. And again, it feels good when your team sucks. You can't fire the players, so it feels good for a fan.
Yeah.
It's that whole thing. I got to release all this anger and tension. Everybody in New York, WFAN today will be, yeah. You just lost the best coach on your staff. Now, is he a great head coach? Certainly that's debatable. I think there was too much vanity. I mean, he's a great-looking guy. He's got good energy. He's kind of cool. It's New York. He probably walks into restaurants in New York, and, he's a great-looking guy. I get it. And I thought he was really very weak at the podium. Again, if he said this stuff in Carolina or Seattle, it just wouldn't make the news. But if Aaron Rodgers calls you out in Green Bay, Dallas, New York, San Francisco, big brands, big cities, that's a whole different ballgame. So that's why when the Jets hire these young coaches, Adam Gase, who was peculiar, or Robert Saleh, you got the vanity and kind of the alpha stuff. There is something to be said. I mean, Sean McVay is great at this, the master of talking and not saying a ton. Derek Jeter, the master. Eli Manning, the master. I mean, literally, Eli Manning and Derek Jeter are the best I've ever seen. They talk a lot and never say anything in New York. They never throw a teammate under the bus. We know Jeter and A-Rod had their issues. Never, ever a problem. Belichick, Brady didn't get along. Didn't go to dinner in 20 years. They never threw each under the bus. The messaging was always the same. I always had this theory about Brady. He did this Monday morning AM radio hit in Boston. Obviously didn't need the money. It was Brady starting the messaging with Belichick for the week. Here's the message for the week. That's what Brady did that. Big Ben did this for years in Pittsburgh, where he would, you start the message for the week. So Brady sometimes was furious with Belichick. He wasn't being respected. We saw that at the very end on the documentary, but the messaging was good. Saleh and Aaron's messaging was terrible. It was terrible. It's like, guys, sit down for 10 minutes every Tuesday and Thursday and talk and say, where are we on the same? And just call it the same page. Have a little thing. Bring a PR guy in. What's the same page? You say this, I'll say that. It takes 10 minutes. Yeah. That was part of his undoing.
Michael Irvin yesterday nailed it when he said, I didn't understand how the quarterback and the coach were going up to hug after that big moment, and Rodgers was like, settle down, like keeping at arm's length. The way Irvin talked about that, we should have seen this was coming.
Well, when that happened, remember that video? We probably have it in the back. When that video happened, I defended Aaron on this. I said, dude, it's the second quarter. Chill out. And that, like the podium stuff with Saleh, is the thing I think you can criticize Saleh on, is that sometimes he was more like buddy than coach. That's the one thing I will defend Aaron on. At the podium, dude, you're the grown-up in the room. Do not throw Aaron under a bus. He's prickly. That's who he is. We've all, listen, if you take over a company and you got a student or you got an employee that's a little prickly, but they're important, you just have to know that going in. Saleh knew going in. Aaron had a history. I'm not going to blame Aaron for that. Aaron is being authentic to who Aaron is. Go read the book by Ian O'Connor. This is who Aaron is. And he now runs the franchise. He's a quarterback and the best player on your team, or one of the top 4 or 5. You got to do it better. So Saleh, that's where Saleh, to me, gets criticism. It's not on the coaching. That's not what it is. It's really on his inability as a young, good-looking guy with a lot of testosterone to sometimes take one for the team, act like a grown-up. That, I think it's fair to criticize him. But can he coach? Kyle Shanahan loved him. Okay, that defense is for real. Nobody slows down the Vikings, and they shut him down with Sauce Gardner on the pine. So don't tell me he can't coach.
Yeah, he'll be a defensive coordinator somewhere in this league
tomorrow.
Probably tomorrow, yeah.
All right, J-Lab Personal Tech Company making headphones. Well, Robert Saleh's been fired. Reportedly, he was blindsided. I don't know how you could be blindsided. You get blindsided if you get hit by a bus. You don't get blindsided if you get fired by the Jets, the Raiders, the Cleveland Browns. It's just you get hired to be fired. Now, if you're the Miami Heat, then we would be blindsided.
We got a knife in the back from Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if that's blindsided or not.
Well, give me 7 or 8 minutes to kind of sort through this. So Robert Saleh this morning said he was blindsided, fired by the Jets. And we warned you, if you go to London, where Woody Johnson was the former ambassador to UK, he's got all his bougie billionaire buddies in the stadium. Ex-Jet Sam Darnold beats you, something's going to happen, and it did this morning. So in the moment, for all you alphas out there, it feels good, yeah. It's like going to the batting cage when you're in a bad mood. Take a few whacks. Somebody's got to pay for this. Congrats, you just fired the most competent coach on your staff. Nat Hackett is probably the worst OC in the league. He's still there because Aaron makes sure he's there. So this will be the 5th head coach, interim coach in 11 years. Does it sound like a well-run business? If you owned a company, you're on your 5th CEO in 11 years, would you be a well-run company? For the record, if they beat the Bills on Monday Night Football, that terrible Robert Saleh coach, they would have been in first place. With way past his prime Aaron Rodgers. So ask yourself, what is easily the best part of the Jets? The defense, the part he coaches. Robert Saleh didn't whiff on a quarterback and a left tackle in the first round, forcing the organization to hand all the power to Aaron Rodgers. Robert Saleh didn't mishandle the Hassan Reddick mess. Again, I know it feels good. Jets, it felt good to beat the Patriots. It feels good to fire the coach. It always feels good for poorly run businesses to fire people, and that will solve it. And go ahead, Colin, he didn't get along with Aaron Rodgers. Well, we told you that a couple of weeks ago, and you pushed back on your Go Green Reddit boards when we told